In this episode, we're going to break down my top 3 lessons from 200 podcast episodes and what they have to do with your fertility, plus a special giveaway at the end. Welcome to the Finally Get Pregnant Naturally podcast, the podcast helping women identify the real reasons you haven't conceived or stayed pregnant so you and your partner can finally grow the family of your dreams. I'm your host, Dr. Katie Wood. Let's dive in, shall we? Welcome back to the Finally Get Pregnant Naturally podcast. I'm your host, Katie, and oh my gosh, here we are. We have made it to episode 201, which means this past Tuesday was episode 200. And if you haven't gone back to listen to that one yet, go do it after this. I shared my top 4 most downloaded episodes of all time with a little spark notes on each one. And there is some really great stuff in there that you don't want to miss. But today, we're going to do something a little different. I want to get real and reflective with you because 200 episodes is no small thing. That is over 3 years of showing up, learning, growing in my business, my own motherhood journey, and also in how I show up and serve you. And as I was sitting with what I wanted to share to mark this milestone, I kept coming back to 3 core lessons, 3 things that shifted everything for me and really brought me to this present day and where I am right now in the podcast. And I realized that every single one of them can map directly onto the fertility journey. So that is what we're going to do today. So what you can expect from today's episode. Number 1, you're going to walk away with 3 hard-won lessons from 200 episodes that I genuinely wish that somebody had shared with me in the beginning, but honestly, it's all a part of the journey. Number 2, you are going to hear how each of those lessons mirrors something that I see playing out in my clients' fertility journeys every single day, and maybe in yours too. Number 3, you're going to leave feeling seen, a little fired up, and maybe with a few things to think about where you are right now in your own process and journey. And don't go anywhere at the end because I'm also sharing a very special giveaway to celebrate this milestone and you do not want to miss it. So let's dive in. Lesson number 1, you can do hard things. So when I started this podcast 3 years ago, I honestly started it on a whim and I just really hit record pretty much. But I have a history of being absolutely terrified of public speaking, like genuinely, deeply afraid. Had to take medication in college. Well, I thought I needed to take medication in college so I could get up and present in front of my peers. I would pretty much stand up there and just like black out. My heart would be racing out of my chest. I could not think of what I wanted to say or share. And like, here I am just like riffing with you on these podcast episodes. Like it's crazy. So yeah, the old version of me is I was someone who would rather die a little inside than have all eyes and ears on me. And yet here I am 2 episodes in. And the truth is, I did not start because I felt ready. I started because I decided that the fear was not a good enough reason to stay small and to not serve my community of women who are on this journey to motherhood and parenthood, and you deserve support, right? So my fear was just not a good enough reason. So I got on a public speaking platform anyway. Shaky voice, imperfect audio, just really doing it messy. And I just kept going. And every single episode, it got a little bit easier. And not because the fear disappeared, but because I chose to do the hard thing over and over until I proved to myself that I could. Hey, public speaking is not that scary, and I can do it. So, how do I see this through a fertility lens? I see this exact thing with my clients all of the time. Someone comes to me after being told they have PCOS or low AMH or old eggs or unexplained infertility, whatever it may be, and are being told that getting pregnant without IVF, donor eggs, what have you, is basically impossible. And the fear and the grief that comes with hearing those things, it's real. And I'm not dismissing that for a second. But here is what I also know. Your diagnosis does not define you, and it does not guarantee that those are the results that you're going to have. The diagnosis is purely information, and what you do with it is a choice that you get to make. So when you decide to step outside of what the standard medical narrative told you was possible, what was possible, right? The limitations that they're putting on your fertility. When you decide to show up for your body, for your baby, your family, even when it feels hard, even when your mind is telling you it can't be done, they told me it couldn't be done, it wasn't possible, that's when things start to shift. And that is when I have watched women with low AMH, women in their mid 40s, women who are told that they absolutely could not get pregnant. Well, with me, they're conceiving naturally. And that is when I have seen cycles regulate after years of chaos. That is when the body starts responding. So let this be your reminder you can do hard things, and your body is more capable than you have been led to believe, really. Your body has all the innate wisdom to heal itself, and it wants to. Lesson number 2, you have to leave old versions of yourself behind. So when I started this show, it was really focused on maternal health and motherhood. So we talked all things from fertility, pregnancy, birth, and postpartum. So it was very broad. And then after the first season, I decided to shift it to focus purely on fertility for the second season. And then in my third season, and also in my fourth, it has become more specific and more intentional by really addressing root cause fertility only. And every single one of those identity shifts felt a little uncomfortable in the moment. There was a version of me that was afraid that niching down meant leaving people behind. And that also there was a version of me that was attached to being the person who talked about all things motherhood because I genuinely enjoy all of these different seasons of motherhood. But the truth is, every time I let go of who I used to be on the show and stepped into who I was actually becoming and who I was serving, the work got better. It got clearer. It got more powerful. And honestly, growth always requires leaving something behind, and that's okay. It can be a little scary, but it can also be exciting. So, in terms of fertility, I think that this is one of the most underestimated pieces of the fertility puzzle, and it's something that's never talked about, and is your identity. So many of the women I work with are trying to layer in new habits on top of old versions of themselves. Yet they truly want to optimize their fertility, but they're still operating from old limiting beliefs like, I'm just not a breakfast person, or I've always been a night owl, or I could never function without caffeine. And I say this gently, but I also want to get my point across. If the old version of you is not getting you pregnant, then it might be time to let parts of her go that aren't serving you in the season that you're in right now. So, adopting the nutrition, the sleep habits, the stress management practices that actually move the needle for fertility, those things require you to become someone new, someone who sees her body as worthy of nourishment, someone who protects her sleep like it matters because it does, someone who is no longer just going through the motions, but is actively becoming the woman who has a healthy, viable pregnancy. And that identity shift, that is not a small thing, but it's one of the most powerful things you can do on your fertility journey. All right, and lesson number 3, work smarter, not harder. Okay. In the early days of this podcast, I was doing everything. I was recording longer episodes, I was recording video episodes, and I was having guest after guest after guest. And I thought more meant better, more content, more value, more visibility. But then it kind of got old. I got a little burnt out, and I realized I was working harder in all the wrong ways. Now I focus and record audio only. My episodes are shorter, but they're more focused. And I do one guest episode per month, but I'm very intentional about who I invite on the show now. And the quality of the show has gone up, not down, because I stopped chasing volume and started chasing things that were more aligned with my mission. So, in terms of fertility, this might be the lesson that hits the hardest for the women I work with because the fertility space is so flooded with noise and fluff, right? Every week there's a new supplement, a new protocol, a new trending thing that some influencer swears got them pregnant. And I understand why you want to try them out. I was the same way when we struggled to get pregnant with our first. You're desperate for answers. You want to feel like you're doing something. But here's what I've seen over and over again in my practice. The women who get results are not the ones who are doing the most things. They're the ones who are doing the right things for them specifically. The timeless fertility foundations, sleep, blood sugar balance, gut health, mineral status, cycle awareness, stress. These things are not glamorous. They're not trending, but they work and they have always worked and they will continue to work and get my clients pregnant. The shiny object approach does not just waste your time and your money and your energy, it actually distracts you from the real healing work. It keeps you on the surface when what you need is to go deeper. So work smarter, invest in what actually moves the needle, and trust the process. So let's bring it home and recap. 3 lessons from 200 episodes and 3 ways they show up in your fertility journey. Lesson 1, you can do hard things. Your diagnosis is not your destiny. Show up for yourself even when it feels impossible. Lesson 2, growth requires letting go of who you used to be, and that identity shift is part of the fertility journey. Lesson 3, stop chasing shiny objects. Come back to fertility foundations and work smarter, not harder. These lessons have shaped me, and I genuinely believe that they have something to offer you wherever you are on your fertility journey right now. Okay, now for the best part, the giveaway. The fun, exciting giveaway that I'm so excited to offer you. And this is the final reminder. The deadline for this is February 28th, end of day. And before you hop off, this past Tuesday, I announced a very special giveaway to celebrate 200 episodes. And today is your final reminder. So here is what is happening. Anyone who leaves a review or rating and follows the podcast and then shares proof with me is going to receive access to my biggest needle mover of my fertility foundations. This is the stuff I come back to again and again with every single client, and it is yours just for participating. And then 3 lucky winners are going to be chosen for something really special, a virtual VIP day with me for your fertility snapshot. Here's what that's going to look like. We're going to work together one-on-one and go through your full fertility picture. We'll look at where you are right now, your labs, your history, your lifestyle. We identify the specific foundations that are going to make the biggest impact for your fertility. And then we personalize and optimize those foundations so you'll walk away with a clear, targeted plan that is actually built for you. Not a generic protocol, not a cookie cutter approach, a real roadmap specific to your body and your situation. If you've been on your fertility journey, feeling confused, information overload, or just wondering what is actually going to move the needle for you, then this VIP day is designed to cut through all of that BS and give you clarity. So here's how to enter. Step 1, leave a written review on Apple Podcasts or a star rating on Spotify. Step 2, follow the podcast on Apple or Spotify. Step 3, share proof with me. A screenshot is fine by DMing me on Instagram at _wellness_pharmacist or by emailing me. The links are in the show notes, of course. And that's it. 3 simple steps and you are in. 3 winners will be selected for the VIP Fertility Snapshot, and every single person who enters gets access to my biggest needle mover for Fertility Foundation's content. So there is truly no losing here. Again, entries close February 28th at end of day. All the links are in the show notes. And I just want to thank you so much for being here, for being a loyal listener, for being a part of this community for the last 3 years and 200 plus episodes. I do not take it lightly, not for a single second. I appreciate you so much. I will see you on our next episode, released every Tuesday and Thursday. Are you ready to finally discover why you haven't been able to get or stay pregnant? The Ultimate Fertility Blueprint is a quick, insightful quiz designed to reveal your overall capacity to conceive and help you discover potential root causes and areas to address to improve your fertility so you can finally get and stay pregnant. You'll find the link in the show notes. As a quick reminder and disclaimer, this podcast is for educational purposes only and is not a substitute for medical advice. Always consult your doctor or healthcare provider before starting any new supplement or protocol, especially if you're actively trying to conceive or undergoing treatment.